This episode of This Is My Bourbon podcast is brought to you by the Distillery. Right, Kurt?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, welcome back to another episode of This Is My Bourbon podcast. I'm Perry, and I got Curtis with me.
What's up, guys?
Hey, man. I haven't seen you since the 50th episode spectacular.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, how you been?
The second recording of it.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Not
again,
to bring that
was
up
my
again.
fault.
Anyway.
I'm sorry. I wasted everybody's time the first round. I'm very sorry about it. But anyway, yeah. What's new? What's up?
Nothing much, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Drinking good bourbon, I
Drinking
hope?
good well, been waiting to drink good bourbon.
I'm sorry, I know. I actually have another one, too, that we need to... So Curtis and I split a couple of bottles.
Which we will get to.
Yes, we will, for sure. And two of them were Wilderness Trail bottles. Sorry, I have to dig into the box.
To the box of goodies.
And then the other one is the Bond and Lillard Batch 2 from Wild Turkey, part of their Whiskey Baron collection. Actually, we're going to be recording 2 episodes back-to-back here tonight. So, one's for the regular feed. The other one is for Patreon. That's going to be the very first Patreon-exclusive episode. So, if you are not already a patron over at patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast, please go and do that. And
Right.
you get these exclusive bonus episodes that we're going to record in a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to kick off the show with our newest segment, Flying Blind, which I've changed up a little bit to actually be blinding who's on the show.
We're literally blindfolded right now is what's happening. I can't see anything.
Why are you spinning me?
Why am I in an office chair? Where am I going?
What, is this a baseball bat you just handed me? What are we doing? Are we playing piñata or
Wait
what?
a second.
Anyway, so originally what it was is that I was like, trying to warm up our palates or something with, something we've had or, are new to. But then I realized, the word blind is kind of in the title, so why not blind the co-host for that episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't see what I poured. So, yeah, we're going to kick off the show with Flying Blind.
Yeah.
I love this nose.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
It's a good nose. It's the perfectly shaped, perfectly rounded nose. I'm fair.
Because it has an actual shape.
It's not bulbous. Not bulbous.
It is a good nose, though.
Yeah, it's very...
It's not overpowering. It's not overwhelming.
Yeah, it's very warm. Little bits of citrus on there. Some really, really nice baking spices. I think that's what I kind of pick up on more than anything.
Yeah.
It's that baked goods note and everything. But
It's a fruitiness.
yeah, just a little bit for sure. Not a whole lot of heat either.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Not a ton of heat.
So I have to ask you,
But
just
a little spice.
yeah, just on nose. What would you liken this to? Can you?
What I liken this to?
If you had to make a ballpark guess about this, say age, proof.
That's always tough guessing
I know
for
it
me.
is. I know.
Everybody.
And you haven't even taken a sip yet either. So, well, maybe after you take a sip, we'll do that. But anyway.
I don't know what I would liken it to, though. Would you? I mean, you know.
I know what it is that I poured you, so I can't.
Yeah. Perry's over here trying to be like, hey, here's this Flying Blind that I get to see.
Well, I can't do a double blind. I mean, we could.
We could.
I don't know how. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out down the line. We don't have to have this conversation.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Here. Anyway, all right. Cheers to the first sip, I guess.
Yeah.
Dare I say, it's nutty.
Very nutty.
Yes, quite. Not a whole lot of heat by any means.
A little bit towards the end.
Yeah, the finish is really nice and long.
Yeah.
Too, and it gets to that Kentucky hug really quickly too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like right to the chest.
That is yummy. Yeah, I'm happy I have another bottle of this as well.
Yeah, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
The front end of the palate is what really I noticed at the very beginning. That first sip, right on the tip of the tongue. I was like, "Oh, I'm
Ooh,
getting
hello.
I'm getting a little bit of that spice," and it started to open up more of the floral notes. And
Yeah. It's some like there's a little bit of like peanut butteriness on there too, and you're right. Like as it kind of expands too and becomes, more of like a floral presence. It's really good, and there's some like the fruitiness, as far as I can tell, is kind of like a dark fruit, like kind of I don't know, like a plum.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
A plum.
Yeah,
That's
a good.
that's a go-to.
Okay,
That's
great.
a plum.
So any guesses on what this might be? I'm curious.
Can I get a hint? Can I get a little something?
It's one of the biggest distilleries in the world. Sorry, that was a terrible hint. Okay,
Buffalo Trace.
It is within the 90 to 100 range in proof.
Improve. I could definitely tell that.
Yeah.
I want to say it's something Wild Turkey,
Okay.
but you said it's one of the largest, like the largest, right? So it's not. I don't think it'll be that. It's definitely not that.
It's not turkey.
Yeah. But it kind of has like a little bit of the profile of.
No, it actually really does. It's really
Yeah.
interesting. You just want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm not going to be able to.
It's a Jim Beam Bottled and Bond.
Okay.
This bottle actually
they don't make it anymore, do they?
No, they do, just
do?
not in this bottle.
Okay.
This was an older bottle that I actually got from Swan. It was like about 3/4 of the way done, and he was like, "Hey, check this out." So, thanks, Swan.
Yeah, for
'Cause
real.
This is really good.
This has been my most positive flying blind.
I know, right?
Yeah. I'm ecstatic.
Well, we're actually tonight talking about, as you can tell by the title, budget bottled and bonds, which is a kind of a common theme for us on the show, of course, and was our very first episode where we did a
Bottle and bond fight.
a blind battle, yeah. And I figured too, we haven't really taken the time to talk about what would be a good replacement for Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond now that it's gone, and I think we've given it enough time to, kind of be laid to rest, and we've all mourned, and
You can find it some places.
you can sometimes for more than it's actually worth, but
Well, that's very true.
that's a conversation for later. We're actually going to
But
talk
as
about
far as
that
the
later.
replacement goes,
As far as the replacement goes,
I would recommend.
I absolutely think so.
I don't know if it would quite. I mean, it's not going to replace it
No,
completely, but
no.
I don't know.
It's definitely up there. I would say too that it might be interesting for us sometime in the near future as kind of maybe a follow-up episode or like a Patreon exclusive or something. Do like a blind flight of these where we actually go through and talk about them, and maybe that would help us decide which one it is that we think is the.
Yeah, I think that'd be smart to do, and actually include the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond too, because we have some still.
I have some, yes. You do.
There's
too.
a bottle over there.
Yeah, I have quite a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
He's like, I have like 14 bottles a case,
It's not that many.
but it's close. And
It's
I
not
haven't
that
even,
many.
I haven't even talked to Barry in a while about it. So
Well, Curtis, you know what we do need to talk about? We need to talk about what you've been drinking recently.
what have I been drinking recently?
Yes.
All right. I have been drinking Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit lately.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
I love Kentucky Spirit. It's really good.
Yeah. I had only had it a couple other times, but I went to Justin's House of Bourbon in Lexington.
Yeah.
And
Shout
I was
out to
looking
those
around.
guys. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're great guys. And I picked up that because I wanted something. I mean the bottle because it's just cool too.
Oh, yeah. Did you know that they're actually doing it?
they're-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the replacement bottle?
No, I haven't.
It's just the Russell's bottle.
Okay,
pretty
gotcha.
much,
Mhm.
which is fine.
I heard that
I-
it broke. That they're replacing it because
Because that bottle breaks?
when they put the cork in, that the bottle would break.
Really?
Yeah,
I've
that's
not
what I
heard
heard.
Interesting.
And that was when I went in, actually was talking about it.
Oh, okay.
And I said, yeah, they're getting rid of the bottle. And the lady there at the cash register was like, yeah, apparently when the cork goes in, a lot of times it breaks.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Seriously,
I guess it's
never
just
heard
the
that.
structure
All right.
of the bottle, maybe.
I mean, that's fine.
Or it could be totally wrong.
It could be.
And that's
Well,
just something that
when
was
you
made up.
when you think about it, like it's kind of hard to like put it on your shelf with anything else. Like it's not really a conventional shape or anything.
No.
I do really like the shape of the bottle. It's extremely unique.
Mm-hmm.
But
unique and functional is two different things. Too.
That's a very good point. Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, so I've been drinking that. I've been enjoying that. I also have been drinking Wathens.
Yeah, I see an empty bottle over there.
Yep,
With that.
gone. Super nutty though.
Oh yeah,
Wathens.
man.
It's like
good.
peanut butter and just like almonds, and it's just really good.
I love the barrel proof versions
Okay,
of them.
haven't had it. But
It's quite good.
okay.
It's quite good. Anything else?
I mean that's
He looks
probably
over to his liquor cabinet.
yeah. It's like I have to remember. No, I mean the Heaven Hill bottled and bond. I've been that's the usual.
Yeah.
And then I have these two bottles that have been sitting on my liquor cabinet.
I'm sorry.
And I don't want to mention it yet.
Well, didn't I say it already?
I don't think you did. Well, I think we've been.
I could have sworn that I did.
No, we didn't say it. Nonetheless, I've been waiting for so long.
All right. I'm sorry. I've been very busy recently with drinking different things.
Yeah. Yeah, what have you been drinking, Perry?
Some of which I will not get into right now. But I've been on a real Turkey 101 kick as of late, too. It's funny,
I've been on a turkey kick.
I really have, too. I actually recorded an episode recently, and I think this one will be the one right before this one comes out, with Dave Jennings, who is Rarebird 101 on social media, and he has his whole turkey blog and everything. And it just kind of like got me all amped up for turkey products. And like, 101, of course, is kind of like our go-to daily drinker, or mine at the very least. But then I was like, oh, man, Russell sounds really good. Kentucky Spirit sounds really good. Even the rye. Oh, I got a bottle of 101 rye recently, too. Which is fabulous. But I mean, I just was so enamored with it, and it all kind of culminated too because I brought Rare Breed.
You brouut him here?
I brought
Wow.
Rare Breed. Yes, I brought Dave Jennings. Here he is. No, I brought Rare Breed to Thanksgiving with my family, too, and so it was just like a nice kickoff into the turkey
The food coma?
Yeah, well, or the drunken coma.
Well, both.
But
Sure.
Sorry. I don't want to get into that. I was very drunk.
Yeah. From his reaction, you can obviously tell his Thanksgiving was very good.
I was very drunk. But the
Or
day
just
after,
drunk.
the day after no, it was good.
Yeah.
I had a good time. But the day after, I did win a bottle of George T. Stagg from
Even
the
better.
antique collection.
Yeah.
And I think by this point, too, this episode will come out. I recorded an uncorking of it and this year's William LaRue Weller with Chad and Sarah. So that's going to be up on their YouTube page. If it's not already, it will be soon. So if there's a link in the description of this episode to that uncorking, it has already been released. But if not, it'll be out soon, I guess. I don't know. I can't control Chad. That's about it, really, though. Nothing like super off the wall.
Out of the ordinary.
Yeah. But I'm excited for this episode tonight. Like I said,
Me
it's
too.
going to be budget bottled and bonds. I think
And that's because last time, I think the Evan Williams Bottle and Bond,
we were
I
talking
was
about.
a fan of.
Yeah, you were. And we were talking about how good it was and how it was comparable to the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, but it was missing just a little bit of something. I think, I can't remember, but Chad might have been the one to point that out. Excuse me. We're also on handhelds tonight because I left my mic stands in Lucy's car. So opening bottles is going to be very difficult. Okay, so we'll start with the Evan Williams then, if you.
Yeah, I'm good.
So Evan Williams Bottle and Bond was also in our very first episode as part of the budget blind battle that we did. And as was another one that's going to be in here a little bit later as well. That's the very old Barton Bottled and Bond, which is, oddly enough, becoming harder and harder to find, but we'll get to that when the time comes. So anyway, this is the 100 proof, aged at least 4 years version of Evan Williams Black Label. Of course, every time that I have this bourbon, it surprises me. Like, I never remember it being exactly what it was the time before that I had it. And that's kind of in line with, how I feel about Old Forester 1920 too. Like, everybody swears on it, but like, I am always surprised by that bottle. It's never consistent for me.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I haven't had this since the last.
I kind of figured you hadn't. But I'll be interested to see what you think about it. I love the nose on it. Now, I want to point something out, too. This is a product that is also produced by Heaven Hill, and it's the same mash bill as the Heaven Hill 6-year Bottled and Bond that we lost, R.I.P. But, yeah, what?
It was just funny, because we're on the handheld this time.
Yeah.
And I was nosing.
Were you talking into your glass?
I was nosing the Evan Williams, and then I tried to nose the microphone. And that doesn't work.
I'm sorry. That's awesome. That's hilarious.
So that's why I was just laughing at myself. Like,
I noticed something was happening. I couldn't figure out what it was. But yeah, it is extremely similar to the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, but it's not quite as robust, but it's still very, very good.
Very, very good.
This seems to have a lot more of the orange peel on the nose.
It's a lot brighter of notes. Even just comparing it to the Jim Beam bottle. Jim Beam.
That Jim Beam.
Yeah, the Jim Beam bonded.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems to kind of lack some of that barrel influence too that the Jim Beam did, as well as the Heaven Hill 6-year.
And maybe that's what the Evan Williams is just missing a little bit.
It's the barrel on it. Yeah. Well, flavor-wise, let's see, though.
The flavor-wise is when I get the barrel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm getting a lot of the oak-inspired.
Still some of the, the orange peel on it, too, that I was getting on the nose. A lot more caramel than I even was able to find on the nose, too. Finish isn't really much to speak of, though. I would say
it doesn't go fully down. It's a little short, but I will say the citrus and the bright notes and maybe a little pomegranate.
Ooh, that's a really good point there. That is absolutely
I think a little
what that
pomegranate. There's just something very bright about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but on initial, I get more of the barrel.
Yeah, absolutely. This seems like it'd be a real good cocktail Bottled and Bond.
Yes.
I think this would...
I totally agree.
I don't know so much maybe about an old-fashioned. Maybe something that's a little less sweet, I would say. It would be nice to kind of help it balance some of those more savory flavors out. But, man, this is absolutely a very good everyday pour.
Mm-hmm. And what's the price point?
$15 or $16.
Perfect.
So really, I mean, it's not much more than what you were getting the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond for. I think what this kind of had going for it was the brand name. Evan Williams is just kind of one of the big names in bourbon. So, that's what kind of allows them to price it a little bit better than, say, the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. And make more money off of it because people realize, oh, it's Evan Williams. I associate that with bourbon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine unless it wound up being maybe age stated at some point. I mean, it says at least 4 years on on the bottle, but like if it said like, I mean, if this became a 6-year product, I'd be okay with paying like $18-20 for it.
Yeah.
I think.
I think I'd be there.
Yeah,
Because I mean, if it ended up being that 6-year, stated, then you're going to get more of the development of it as well.
sure. And I mean, sure, we would wind up just basically getting the Heaven Hill bottle and bond all over again. But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's to say that I would actually pay.
A
Would
little.
pay $20 for Heaven Hill bottle and bond.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that's implying, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
I just had a really sad realization.
But of course, we'll always take it at the price point that it was.
if we can find it.
Yeah.
If we can find it before it goes national and premium. So dumb. Anyway. I mean, it's fine. I understand. But
Yeah.
it's also dumb and wrong. But it's fine.
Totally wrong. Not that we're pointing fingers.
No, it's fine. I love you guys at Heaven Hill. I think Heaven Hill actually...
But seriously, keep it.
Seriously, it's dumb. I think Heaven Hill might actually be my favorite distillery. I mean, honestly, between them and, dang it, Buffalo Trace.
Mm-hmm.
They both have so much to offer across the board, and it's funny because like Heaven Hill kind of seems to balance out what Buffalo Trace may lack in certain areas. They have more really high quality bottom shelf stuff. Their weeded bourbon is more readily available, unlike Weller Special Reserve or the 107 or anything. But they reach all the way from the bottom to the top in terms of the market.
Yeah.
And they do such a solid job of that all the way through. I think it's really cool. And unfortunately he's leaving the company, but I think that's a big we have to give huge props to Denny Potter too for all of that. But anyway, that's my Heaven Hill rant.
And
Can a rant be positive? Is a rant
rant
inherently negative?
No, I think a rant is just a long-winded, probably tangent.
So what I gave was, I guess, more of a soliloquy than a rant. It's okay.
I think a soliloquy is a little more put together and not as much as off the tongue, like off the head, top of the head.
So what you're saying is I gave a dramatic monologue instead of a soliloquy.
Well, I think that makes it.
Thank you for playing into that.
Yeah,
I was so happy.
Well, I think that's more put together and like thought out and like written down, and you're performing it. A rant is definitely more of like off the cuff.
Oh yeah, that's fine. So it was more of a soapbox, I guess. Then don't do it. I actually meant it that time.
Okay. Let's get this back on track.
Right, yeah, anyway, so Evan Williams.
Recommend.
Yeah, I give it a recommend too. It's actually starting to creep outside of the Kentucky market too. My buddy Colin Cox, who does the Hop-Ons podcast, lives in Virginia, and he found it
Really?
the other day, which I honestly didn't even know until then that it was starting to get outside of Kentucky. But I mean, good.
That's great.
More people drinking it.
Yeah.
I think that it's lucky enough to have developed a reputation before it went to a national market, to where it wasn't like, oh, we have to test this first and see how people react to it. It's well established.
Yeah. I think it was just a foundation that was like, hey, this is where it's at. And then eventually it was like, we need to let this go out further.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I'm surprised that they never did it with the Heaven Hill bottle and bond.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be just because they didn't have the amount of product that they needed for it. This is, I mean, it says aged at least 8 years again on the Evan Williams bottle, but, I mean, it could very well be that it's right at 4 years old.
Yeah.
So who's to say? Who's to say? All right, you want to...
No, I just thought that was, who's to say?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
You want to go... So I just am now realizing, too, that actually 3 of the other budget bottle and bonds that I brought, besides the Jim Beam, were Heaven Hill products. So we have the J.W. Dant, we have the Very Old Barton, And we also have T.W. Samuels, Bottled and Bond. Which one interests you the most? I'm curious. Do you want to finish out? Actually, I'm gonna I'm gonna steamroll you here.
Yeah, for real.
This was actually the other one.
Well, I don't want any of them now.
This was actually the other one that was on our flight for the
I was
budget.
actually going to say let's do
Ones.
that
Yeah,
one.
let's do it. Let's do it. I have to put my mic down so I can
So we can open the
screw it over.
yeah, unscrew the top. That is funny that
Square one.
yeah, sure. That is funny that 3 of the 4 are Heaven Hill products. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it goes back to what I was saying about, Heaven Hill being so good at what they do kind of across the board. I mean, it's a real testament to the quality of their products. Now, again, Very Old Barton was, the Bottled and Bond was in our very first episode, our very first blind battle, which really, we haven't really done another blind
No, we haven't.
battle.
I think we've had 1 or 2, but it hasn't been.
I don't think we have. I think that was the first and only
First
blind battle that
recorded
we've
one,
done.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we've done it,
We've done
not
it
on
before.
air, but like as far as like the show goes, that was the first and only one that we've done for
Yeah,
the
what
show.
are we
So
doing?
I would like to do a flight of all of this year's Booker's releases.
Yeah.
So yeah, which probably we're going to wind up doing too at some point to figure out which of them belongs in our best of 2018.
Yeah.
And everything. But anyway, okay, back on track. Very Old Barton, Bottled and Bond. I get one dominant note on this all the time, every single time.
One dominant note.
Yep. Both sides of the
What are you going to say?
bananas.
Bananas.
I always get bananas on the nose of this bourbon.
I can get that. I can get on board with that one.
And I mean, it's not like a fluke.
I got a little cinnamon.
Yeah, it's kind of like a maybe like a
Banana
banana bread. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
There we go. We agree. Love when that happens.
What a wonderful thought you just had there, Curtis.
Well,
Well, anyway,
I'm glad you agree.
it's not a bad nose, but it's so different. It's so what?
Kind of one.
Yeah, exactly.
noted.
Like it's just like it's like okay, there it is.
Not to say, I do like it.
No, I do
Love me
too,
some
but
banana.
it's just so different and nothing that like when I think of bourbon, when I think of a nose that I really, want to enjoy, this isn't necessarily it. But that being said, it's still fine. It's good. It's
yeah.
serviceable.
Yeah, it's serviceable. I really enjoy it. It's not what I'm used to in like what your expectation of it
Yeah.
is. But I do like it.
Palate-wise, I don't get as much of the banana until it gets to towards the finish. Personally, Up
Yeah,
front,
the finish is
it's like straight banana.
straight banana.
But like the front end of the palate though is really quite good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super like cinnamony and kind of like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I would almost say, in that it has a lot of the sweetness too to kind of counter the, some of that spice from
Yeah,
the.
it's very sweet
Yeah, absolutely.
with a hint of those spices. My one knock on it is that I want it to do more,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't.
Yeah, it is. It is
very
kind of a letdown.
enjoyable. It's just like I take a sip and I go,
Yeah,
here we go.
absolutely. I get so much cinnamon sugar on the front of the palate. I mean, just overpoweringly so. It's funny
It's
how
a little too sweet for
yeah,
personally
I,
me.
I have to agree, actually. But it's so funny though how like there isn't a clear transition from the palate to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just kind of like it hits that front part, which is the cinnamon sugar, and then it like has a hard stop, and
Yeah.
then begins again, but into the finish with the banana flavor.
Yeah, which is like the same thing.
Yeah, but it's again like it's fine, but it's such a weird. It's such a weird bourbon.
It is weird. It's not any. It's very unique.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say.
But again, like I don't
super good. Like I enjoy it.
it. It's like one of those like it's just a bourbon.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't ever reach for it. I mean, I got this, gosh, probably a couple months ago.
And it's almost full.
And it's mostly full. Most of the neck is gone off of it. But like, you know, the TW Samuels I've had for 2 or 3 weeks. Granted, sure, it's a handle, but I've had it for 2 or 3 weeks, and it's about two-thirds of the way gone.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just, as far as my palate goes, you know, it's just not, the Burial Barton isn't really what I would be reaching for.
No.
But I think if
especially out of the selection of bottle and bonds we have, definitely wouldn't be my first choice.
I think that if you preferred sweeter palates.
I was going to say that if you hadn't really explored into bourbon because you said, oh, it's too powerful, it's too bold, and it's like too overwhelming.
Yeah.
I think at that point I'd go, hey, try Very Old Barton.
Yeah.
Bottle and bond, because it is sweet.
If
you're like, oh, I like sweet drinks, you know,
yeah.
like, give me a vodka cranberry. That's just an example. Because I really like sweet drinks. I'd be like, hey, well, if you want to try some bourbon, try having the Very Old Barton.
And to that point, like I feel like it would be kind of a good beginner bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's probably kind of in that realm of, you know, you don't really have to fight with it too much or anything, but it's just fine.
Standard.
Like, it's a very
not
just kind of
standard.
stock. Yeah, it's so weird.
It's a
like,
uniquely.
How are we characterizing this bourbon? I don't think we've really.
It's a
nailed
unique
that down
beginner. I think. I think like that's what.
Well, to that point too, I think that it would be a good way to kind of train your palate, maybe. You know, like because it does allow for all of these different unique notes that you're not typically used to. That you may be able to go, oh, I've never noticed that in a bourbon before, and you know, because you notice it there, then you'll be able to notice it, you know, elsewhere. So
later on,
yeah, I really the only problem with it is that it's just kind of flat. Price wise, though, it's like $13 or $14.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right in the sweet spot for it.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
I don't know if I would give this a recommend. Personally, I think that it's fine just because, you know, it's another good cheap bottle and bond, of course. But I think that for the money, you can find ones that are just slightly better than the palate on this one. But again, if you really like sweet...
that are going to have better palates and a better finish.
Exactly. But again, if you like a sweeter flavor profile, this is totally for you.
I would guide you to that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that's a good recommendation on... if you like sweeter palates, definitely go more towards this. But I wouldn't recommend it for just somebody that's looking for another bourbon, a bottle and bond, like a cheaper bottle and bond.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, oh, go get, you know, Very Old Barton. I'd definitely go to Evan Williams.
I think so too. I mean, you know, again, we would really have to blind ourselves on everything to truly decide what it is. Would be the
like our first episode.
Yeah, exactly. You chose the Evan Williams, I think, from what I remember. And I chose
the
Heaven Hill.
And Tanner at the time thought that he wanted the Jim Beam.
No, we didn't have Jim Beam. It was just those three.
Oh, was it?
I think
he thought he would like the Very Old Barton and ended up going with the Heaven Hill.
Yeah, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. And I think he actually put the Very Old Barton in second place, though.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is a weird number. Go back and listen to that episode. You'll be able to figure out exactly. I mean, exactly you can, but also
It's
doesn't
changed
sound very
so
good.
drastically
It
too.
doesn't sound as good as it does now. I'll just, at the very least, say that much. We're a lot more comfortable. That's about it.
Yeah,
We still
yeah.
drink. We
We're
still drink a
better
lot
now.
of bourbon.
We still drink bourbon. So.
Okay. We're down to 2 more of the budgets.
Okay.
JW Dant or
yeah,
TW Samuels.
Let's do the JW Dant.
Okay, sure. Well, Kurt, maybe since we're doing this one and this is one of the last 2, we'll actually review the TW Samuels.
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely makes sense.
So, yeah, so this is actually going to be our last pour of the topic. I think that this is just another really solid. What are your smiles for?
I'm smiling just because I've never had this.
You've never had this?
No, I've had this before, but I haven't had this before.
Okay,
I've never had this note before. It's
on
like
the
a
nose?
salted pretzel.
Huh?
That's what I'm getting in.
Yeah,
here.
it's
I don't know.
very savory, isn't it?
Yeah. I've never had that before, but that's what I'm getting
That's
at
so.
least.
No, I totally get that. It's like that, like a soft pretzel,
Yeah.
like a soft pretzel, and
With some caramel.
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's almost like, and I know this isn't a thing, but like if you took a soft pretzel with the salt on it and everything, and then you drizzled caramel over top of it.
Yes, that's exactly what.
Yeah, there's a little bit of chocolate in there as well, but it's so faint. You really kind of have to search for it. Not a whole lot of fruit on the nose.
Mm-mm. I'm getting a lot of the savory notes.
Yeah, you know what's actually kind of funny. You're gonna think this is weird. I actually get a little bit of watermelon on the nose too. I know. I just a hint of it on there.
I want to smell it. I don't smell it.
I totally
I
understand.
don't get it.
I totally understand. It's one of the weirder nosing notes that I've ever gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's such a different yet like exciting nose. Honestly,
Yeah,
we're like,
it's pretty cool.
this is really different. But of course, on the palate though, I don't get as much of the like soft pretzel there as I did on the nose. It's still a little bit present, but what's more so, I think, is the caramel notes and those sweeter notes instead of the savoriness.
Yeah, I definitely get more of the sweeter notes of caramel and
I would love to
like
eat
that sweet corn.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it is the corn that's kind of coming through a little
Yeah.
bit more. I would love to maybe eat a steak with this one, or smoke a cigar.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a real good cigar bourbon.
Mm-hmm. I still get a little bit of that. Maybe it's salted caramel.
Maybe that's
More
what it is.
so?
Yeah.
I got salted pretzel on the nose, but maybe it is more salted caramel.
At least on the palate.
Yeah,
I definitely see that. Finish is okay. Like, I think that's maybe its weak point is that, like, the finish is just kind of, like, it's there, but it's not necessarily exciting. You know, the hug isn't really
present.
very present either, no. But it's good, though. It's definitely I would drink this over the very old Barton. I would definitely put it up against the Evan Williams.
I think I would over the very old Barton for sure. I would put it over the bonded Jim Beam.
Jim Beam bonded, yeah.
But I put a little below the Evan Williams.
Evan Williams, yeah. For me, it's still kind of neck and neck between the Evan Williams and the Jim Beam. Like, I don't know, they both bring so much to the table, but they're so different in what they bring.
Yeah. And maybe I'm wrong in compare no, like in comparing the two just because they are different.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
But for my personal opinion,
yeah, absolutely.
I would maybe a little before. I would put the JW Dant a little before the the Evan Williams.
The Evan Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good though. I mean, really. It's kind of hard to find savory bourbons, I would say. Like there aren't a lot of them out there where I'm like, oh, that's
some
savory
steak and mashed
flavor.
potatoes bourbon.
But
Give
this
me
is
the
a-
steak and mashed potatoes and Barry. That's literally what it is.
One of my favorite expressions is he's a real steak and milk kind of guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that this is also good, in terms of pairing with food. I think that it has so many different, qualities to it that would lend itself, especially on like the savory kind of dinner side of it. Like even maybe towards like a rotisserie chicken or something. I think it would be really good with. But this I think is one of the more diverse ones that we've had tonight. But it's so
That doesn't stray away from what you expect in a bourbon.
Is there a candle? Yeah, there is a candle burning in here. I thought for a second I was getting like syrup, like maple syrup, and I was like, something's different.
That's not
Does
right.
my microphone smell like maple syrup?
No, candle.
That sounded like I was having a stroke.
Yeah. Was an odd thing you were doing.
Anyway, I wasn't really much of a. Oh, by the way, I recommend this.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. It's like this is, I think, the cheapest of everything so far. This is
No way.
This is like $12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And Evan Williams is sitting at
like 16,
16.
15, 16, I think.
Not that huge of a difference, but
No, but you can't go.
but
wrong.
in those terms, I would.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them. I would say. I just think that it. I really would have to blind them.
I would pay $16 for it.
I think I would too.
Yeah, without knowing that it was $12, I'd be like, okay, we're looking at Evan Williams and J.W. Damp being the same price point.
Well, I guess that kind of about does it for what was not really a topic, but kind of a topic for this episode. Just kind of us chatting about bottled and bond bourbons.
Yeah.
But, I think if there's anything to take away from it is that there are a plethora of bottled and bond, cheap bottled and bond bourbons out there that you can find that could be not necessarily an exact replacement for the Heaven Hill bottled and bond, but at the very least,
A replacement, nonetheless.
sure, like an
And a good
approximation
one. Yeah.
of it. But anyway,
And that's one thing I've noticed a lot is I'm a big fan of bottled and bonds.
yeah, me too.
Just, I don't know why.
I am too. Well,
I don't know why I'm so on it, but I'm just like, yes,
I don't know if it's
I will
like,
try any and every bottled and
yeah,
bond.
exactly. I mean, I'm totally on board with that too, and I don't know whether it's the fact that like 100 is such a great proof for it, or if you're guaranteed at least 4 years of age. But I'm like all in with
Yeah,
with
they
bottled and
had
bonds.
something back then, man.
They
When they
really-
decided bottle and bond, they had
they
something.
really
there.
did. Shout out E.H. Taylor.
Yeah,
You did a good thing,
not
man.
regulating it all, but but that was cool.
Well, would you like to move on to the review then?
Yes.
All right. So this episode's review is one being videoed for the folks over at patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. And you get this for, of course, as little as $1 a month. Curtis is going to scoot a little bit closer to me and wave. Yes, hello. But to kind of keep with the theme of this week, we're going to be reviewing another budget bottled and bond product. And this is, unfortunately, another Kentucky-only release.
Man, we're bad at that.
But I know we are, but at the same time, this is what I have kind of been considering to be...
I'll keep it over here.
Fine, okay, that's fine. I mean, we have to pour it eventually, but...
Well, not
Anyway.
here nor there.
I understand. Anyway, this is just kind of what I've been considering my replacement for the Heaven Hill bottle and bond. It's another Heaven Hill product.
I think you like.
I
think you
Heaven
like
Hill.
Heaven
What
Hill,
can I
man.
say? I like my Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
Somebody recently, though, said that this was actually a wheated bourbon. I can't remember who.
Huh.
Oh, no, it was Chad. Chad
Really?
said this was a wheated bourbon. I don't know if it is, though. I would be very surprised to find out if it were. It is, however, the namesake for the Samuels family. So the Maker's Mark brand.
Mm-hmm.
This was basically kind of their heritage brand before it got lost in the world of bourbon and then bought up by Heaven Hill, and now it exists kind of as a legacy too. Same thing with J.W. Dant, and it just falls under that. And J.T.S. Brown, actually, too. It just falls under that umbrella of, Heaven Hill's expansive bottled and bond products that are pretty good. But anyway, we're here to review. We're not really here to talk, even though it's a podcast. So I guess we're here for both?
Yeah, we're here for both.
We're here for both. Okay.
I really thought that I could... No, just...
Do you want one of us to hold?
Yeah,
and
you
one
hold.
Of us to teamwork, we're on the handhelds.
Yeah, there we go.
For anybody who forgot. I don't like being on handheld.
Yeah, I definitely like the...
I'm sorry,
the mic stands.
I left them in Lucy's car.
But
I apologize.
It's all right.
So Patreon's getting to see how dumb we look.
We looked so dumb.
But hey, teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah, not even that instance, but I literally sat here for like 5 seconds going, oh my gosh, like trying to get it myself, and I couldn't, and then forgot that we were on screen.
Hello,
like
Patreon.
Video. Yeah, hey,
camera.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed that.
So before we get into the review, too, for anybody who is new to the show or to the Patreon page, which is weird that you don't know anything about this show if you're giving us money.
We're just going on picking randoms like, whee!
They need some
throwing
help.
money, yeah.
Well, I got $30 laying around a month. I'm just gonna, support somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not like millionaires donating to charity. It's
This is a Patreon page.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, never mind. Well, if you're new to the show, we have a review system of nose, palate, finish, and price, and each category is out of 5, and then we tally everything up for a total score out of 20. And yeah, let's do it.
for sure.
Yeah. I love the nose.
Yeah,
so
the
much.
nose.
I love
Yeah.
the nose so much.
Especially comparatively to what we've been having.
Oh, I think by far it's the best nose that we've had so far. It's so rich. It's got all of those classic bourbon flavors that are
with a few others.
Yeah, and what they are don't necessarily fight with the main notes on the nose, but they do complement them very well.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of trying to pinpoint exactly what it is.
Yeah, the other ones I was able to just pinpoint just because I think that they were so prevalent. I'm getting a lot more of the what you want in a bourbon, what you expect in it.
Yeah.
And then a few extras.
There's like a creaminess on the nose, almost. There is a very specific, like, baking spice to it as well that I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is.
Would it be wrong to say that I'm getting a little butter?
No, not at all. I think so too. This is an absolutely amazing, complex bourbon at its price point.
Yes.
We'll talk about the price here.
Yeah, I don't know what the price point is, so.
Yeah. It's, it might surprise you.
Said in the most weird way. It might surprise you guys.
But it also might not. Oh.
Mm.
Yeah?
On the nose, right before I took a sip, I got a lot of the nuttiness.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yeah.
lot more of the nuttiness. Which I'm getting more.
More of on the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the butter that we were kind of picking up on the nose is more of like a buttered popcorn flavor to it.
Uh-huh.
And that's really predominant, I think, on the palate, too. And it's kind of that, but it's also like coated in the caramel flavor, too. So it's like...
It's smooth like butter.
It really...
Man. I'm not going to lie. It is. It is.
Hashtag smooth like butter.
It's smooth like butter.
A Curtis Conrad
And you
joint.
have to say it like that. I've never said butter like that ever in my life.
But now he has,
But
and
now
now
I
he
have.
will never stop.
Yeah.
Butter.
Butter. That's awesome. It is, though, isn't it?
No, it absolutely is. There's virtually no heat. Maybe a little bit towards the back of the palate.
Where you want it?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not aggressive up front, but you can just kind of find it as it kind of lingers into the finish. The finish, though, is so unique. It's so soft. Like it's not an aggressive Kentucky hug.
Yeah.
It's really mellow.
It is super mellow and not
Not
that's
in a bad
not
way.
to that's not to say it's there's no finish. Because there definitely is. But it's just enough to be like,
oh, I'm getting so much more of the peanut butter on it
yeah.
too on the front end. I just cannot believe that this bourbon is this good at this price point. And I've been harping on it for a little while too,
Wow.
just saying how much I love it. And
Where can we get a handle at? In Kentucky? Don't tell anyone. I
I
won't.
won't tell anybody.
I'm just joking.
No, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it off air. Most of the people who follow the show know already where you can get it, but it's an off-air conversation. So are you ready to find out how much this is?
Yeah.
It's $20 a handle.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. It is $20 a handle for this bottle of bourbon.
You get out of here.
Don't. We have more bourbon to drink.
Okay, fine. $20 a handle.
Yeah, dude.
I'm going to go buy every single handle that I can find.
Well, don't do that because then I won't be able to
That's
find
fine.
any. And
I'll sell you some.
it's fine. Did you hear how aggressively sad he was about that? It's fine. I hate you, but it's fine. Anyway, do you want to go ahead and start kind of giving our numeration?
Yeah,
And
sure.
our scores here. We'll go category by category.
Yeah,
as long as you can. Can you remember yours? Because I don't have anything to write it down.
Yeah,
this time.
I got it.
You do it on your phone. Okay,
I'll shoot
great.
somewhere.
Figuring it out on air. So professional. Okay.
I mean, how else would?
I don't know.
All right. Nose. I think the nose I enjoy a lot. It's really good. It's what you expect in a bourbon. You get the caramels, the sweet notes, the more of the spices, and that little bit of butter. But just a little bit. It's not like the palate. Nose, I'm going to give it... I think I'm going to give it a 3.5.
That's actually what I was going to go with it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3.5.
It's actually I'm going to give it a 3.5. Like it's really, really solid.
Yeah, and I like to give more of a composite score of like I take everything into account,
Oh, I do the same.
not just individually.
Yeah, I do the
And,
same.
So I think 3.5.
Yeah.
is very fair.
Like,
I thought about going to a 4, but
I mean,
Lean more
if this were honestly, if this were priced at like $50, I don't know if I would be like, oh, it smells like a $50 bourbon or a $100
No.
bourbon or anything, but it certainly is better than what you can get for sometimes double the price
yes.
of it, at least on the nose, at the very, very least.
So 3.5 for you? Is that what you're?
So 3.5. I would have to stick with a 3.5 on the nose. Like it's good. It's edging towards great, but it's not quite there. I think
For me, I think great's a strong word. I think it's.
Okay, that's fair. I guess
I think
if it
it's
were more
for me. It's getting towards above average.
yeah. If it were more, I guess like if it were closer to a 5, then I would say that's great or excellent or whatever.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
in this case, it's very good. It
Yeah.
really is very
Yeah.
good. Palate wise, though, I would give it a 4.
That's what I was going at.
I
I think we're spot on.
I really do
on
too.
yeah.
It's so complex for a $20 bottle of bourbon.
Mhm.
there aren't a whole lot of bourbons where I go, oh, it's in a plastic handle. Maybe I'll get a get a bottle
top.
of it. But like, I cannot get enough of this bourbon.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, it's. I would put it up against, like Turkey 101 as a daily drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo Trace.
Yep.
As a daily drinker too. Even, Weller Special Reserve. Excuse me. But I just think that it is one of the most or more flavorful, excuse me.
Yeah. It's a good word. You made
Flavorful?
up there. It's got the flavor and it's favorable.
Thank you for figuring out what that nonsense word was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything else about it. Finish, though, I think finish might be its only weak point.
That's where I notice it.
Like, it's good.
It's not as much there.
No, this is the finish is the most middle of the road part of it for me. And we said earlier, too, that, like, it's really mellow and soft and enjoyable. But at the same time, I do kind of wish that it had more to it that would make me go, oh, I really want to go back for another sip. But that being said, I think it's about a 2.5.
Dude, I literally...
Are you serious?
Yeah. I typed this in before, and...
Dang it!
I was like,
okay,
2.5.
you haven't put a price yet, though. So.
No, price... I will say price, I will put at a 4.5.
I was going to give it a 4.
I just think
but I was
a
also
handle of this is $20.
You can't go wrong with it. It's going to last you a while. I would even hedge towards a 4.25 or a 4.5.
Okay.
For the sake of consistency.
Maybe I jumped to conclusions here.
No, man.
I don't think it's a bad number, 4.5, but I think probably I'd do 4.25.
Yeah, and I
get
think
into the nitty gritty.
I think the only thing that would really have bumped it up to a 5 on price for me would just be that you could that you were able to find more on the finish.
Okay.
And maybe the nose had a little bit more to it. The palate is definitely the strong point of this. But honestly, for as complex as it is, I really do think that like a 4.5 is a really good score for it. So what is that total? That's 8.5.
I believe it's 14.5.
14.5, yeah.
I think that's pretty...
I think that's really fair, That is right in our range of like a solid recommend.
A solid bourbon, yeah.
And I think this is if you can find it, this is a solid recommend for me.
And only select to Kentucky.
Sorry.
But a solid recommend either way.
Boy, I do constantly go, I'm ready for
redeem myself.
Because that was actually pretty impressive.
Thank you. I didn't screw it on. It's tight.
I do really
I just need a little bit more of it.
I do really go, I would love another pour of this.
Yeah.
It excites me. I love that it exists and everything. But anyway, so T.W. Samuels Bottled and Bond, we give it a 14.5 out of 20. It's a recommend from the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and find you a bottle, maybe 2 if you can. That about does it for the review. Again, if you would like to see the video portion of this episode, you can head to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can be a great part, I didn't phrase that the right way, a part of a great community. You could be a great part of a great community.
Yeah.
But only if you
try. You would be a great
unless
part.
Unless you suck. Unless you're a putz.
Yeah.
No, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast is where you can find the video portion of this episode. So that about
really
does
appreciate it.
Yes.
Really appreciate
Thank you, patrons. You guys help out a lot. So yeah, that does it for the review.
Yes.
Bye, Patreon. So that leads us into our recommendation segment of the episode, which
as I sit there and go,
nobody ever remembers to have something to recommend here.
But isn't that the best part of it a little bit?
It always cracks me up.
Well, who wants to go first?
You go first. I'll think of something.
I
want somebody else to go first. Well, I can think of something. This is tips and bits. This is the recommendation portion. So while I go,
I got one.
Okay. Well, I'll go and stop the camera. You talk about your recommendations.
Right. My tips and bits is definitely going to be A Christmas Story, a Christmas classic. It's one of my favorite movies at the holidays.
And we are in the holiday season.
Yes, it is the holiday season. It is December. It is no longer Thanksgiving. I can put up all the Christmas things I want. For
not be judged for it.
Yes. For those of you who don't really know me, I am all for Christmas.
He freaking loves Christmas.
I love Christmas, guys. Like if you're
loves Christmas.
Yeah, as we're recording this, the tree is up. There's stringed lights in my house. There's Christmas candles. There's about 40 nutcrackers.
There are a lot of nutcrackers.
Just
I
staring
feel like I just walked into a horror movie.
Yeah,
and like
just
in a
staring
second,
at
it's
you
like,
in the
oh
face.
my gosh, they're gonna attack me.
Yes.
But anyway,
Nonetheless, A Christmas Story, it's always been a family classic of ours. And it's such the classic Christmas tale and story that you could like imagine, like you'll shoot your eye out, kid. It's just awesome. There's so many good quotes from it. And if you haven't seen it, even if you have seen it, definitely go watch it again. Because they take it off TBS?
oh my gosh, they did.
There's
didn't
no
they?
24-hour marathon
No,
anymore.
wait, no, whoa.
Or maybe it's after this year.
I think it's on another station.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's what it is. I think that it's on like AMC or something now. Maybe it is still on TBS.
Maybe it is. Okay.
I can't remember.
I don't
for
know.
sure.
I just vaguely remember scrolling on my phone and saw it. That they were thinking about taking it off or it was taken off. Nonetheless,
if that's true, that's
buy the movie and go see it. It's like $5 probably.
exactly. You can find it just about anywhere.
So that's mine. And happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, anything.
Yes.
I like saying happy holidays.
I like happy holidays.
That doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't.
Like there are a lot of people who
I enjoy
celebrate
Merry
other
Christmas, too.
things.
Like,
yeah,
I
I
don't know.
mean, it's whatever. I usually let other people go first.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, happy holidays. They say Merry Christmas. I'm like, yeah, Merry Christmas.
That's how. Yeah. Happy.
I don't look Jewish, but happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Yeah. Yeah. I'm good with any of them. you know?
It's fine. I'll say happy whatever. I mean, I want you to be happy when you celebrate your holidays with your loved ones.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Happy you. As long as you're not murdering people.
Yeah, don't kill people, please.
As long as you're not a neo-Nazi. Anyway, so my tips and bits are...
Yeah, so go watch Christmas Story.
Go watch Christmas Story. On the theme of Christmas, I was in Louisville this past weekend, and AMC had a Rankin and Bass marathon on, so all those old claymation movies.
Yeah, okay.
So
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
yes.
Frosty the Snowman?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Also like Rudolph's Shiny New Year, and then a whole bunch of other ones that I didn't even know existed. There was one that was First Christmas or the First Christmas or something like that, but it wasn't the first Christmas.
Yeah.
It was like the first Christmas that they actually enjoy, something like that. But it's all I love that nostalgia trip. I hope
it's so
I
good.
hope that that kind of stuff exists for our kids when they're around and they get to celebrate
Yeah.
the holidays and everything. But that Rankin and Bass, it's good. Also, I have never ever said this in my entire life, and I've never felt it this way before, and it's probably a little bit out of irony. But I have been enjoying the crap out of watching the dumb Hallmark Christmas movies too. I just think they're so cheesy, but they
are so cheesy.
they're such a release too,
Yes.
and you just get to hang out and watch a feel good movie and everything. And
They're so predictable, though.
oh no, they absolutely
That's
are
the
so
worst part
predictable
about
that they have developed a drinking game in honor of them.
I enjoy them when my mom puts them on.
I mean, I don't necessarily seek them out, but I also if it was left on from the night before or something,
Barry's like, I'll watch the entire day of it.
I watch all 24 hours.
He's like, I just watched 10 episodes, 10
10
movies. Yeah. Videos of
I've done nothing but just slump on the couch all day. It's like I missed work.
Yeah.
The dog's going on the carpet.
Yeah,
Anyway, it's a weird recommendation from me, but that's all. That's
Hey,
it. Okay, so that
they're
was
good.
they're
I mean-
fine. They're serviceable. So that was Tips and Bits. Thank you all so much for listening. As always, this has been a fun little episode. It's not been like super serious or anything.
No,
I
I've
like these
enjoyed it.
episodes where it's just kind of like, hey, let's hang out and talk about a thing. But anyway, Kurt, where can people find you on social media after this?
On Instagram, you can find me at KurtCon, and on Twitter, Kurt_Con15.
What was the 15 for again? Is that when you graduated high school?
No,
That was just because.
that was so. 15 was one of my like favorite numbers, and then also like my sports numbers in high school, and
Oh, really?
kind of all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
So 15.
I've always wondered, and I've
not
never
really
asked.
yeah, I mean, it's not really like a. It's a special number that really.
That is not really that special.
Yeah, that's
for
not
any
really that
particular
special.
reason. Yep,
But
that's
if you
fair.
ever ask me like, "Hey, number," I'd be like 15. That'd be the go-to.
I mean, I guess that's
There's no sentimental value.
right. I mean, I guess that's kind of why like my handles everywhere are period or 1492. Like I don't have a specific reason behind it or anything. It was just like, oh, I'm making my Twitter for the first time. 1492.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to have this.
Yeah.
So anyway, on social media, personally, I am at PRitter1492, pretty much everywhere. And then if you want to follow up with the show, of course, you can go follow us at My Bourbon Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you have questions or comments, you can use this in mybourbonshop@gmail.com. I always love hearing from you if you have ideas for our next episode or
Recommendations, anything.
Absolutely. If you have your own tips and bits that you want to share with us,
I would love to see people start commenting what their tips and bits
what their
are.
tips and bits are.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I know the way that I said that was a little bit weird, but that's okay. Let's see, what else? Bourbonshop.threadless.com. We have a sale going until the end of the year to celebrate our 1-year anniversary of the podcast. Of course, everything is 25% off. And we also have free shipping for a little bit. Actually, by the time this episode comes out, the free shipping
Is over.
might be over. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's see. The big thing. Patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast, of course. I've said that like 1,000 times.
Yep.
But that is really one of the biggest things that you can do to help out the show. I have a wonderful group of people who are supporting us every single month and keeping us going. You guys are all incredible. At the start of the year, I think we're going to start thanking patrons by name,
Yeah.
one by one, because that, we've amassed enough to where it's like, oh, we should, probably recognize you guys in some capacity. So that's a thing that you need to be on the lookout for. 5-star rate and review on iTunes, of course. That really does help us out and gets us out to more people. It helps us become more notable on iTunes. And share the show with your friends, of course, if you have people who like drinking bourbon and want to listen to a couple of guys
Talk about bourbon.
talk about bourbon. And
And
sometime,
even if they don't like bourbon,
sure, it's a good conversation.
they get some good stuff.
I guess so.
But you should
We
probably
can at least
like
listen
a
to
little
tips and
bourbon.
bits, right?
Yeah. Go to the
Just
last 2
fast forward
minutes.
to the last 10 minutes of it. Yeah. But also we have really good interviews too.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
there's something for
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we've had music groups on. We've
Yeah,
had
exactly.
artists. Like, I mean,
There's plenty for everybody.
I
Anyway,
think so.
thank you guys so much for listening. This has been another fun episode. Next week, I don't really know what's going to happen because we're kind of recording these out of order, but that's fine. Be on the lookout for it. I'll see you on Tuesday nights, too. I forgot this one. Tuesday nights on youtube.com/This Is My Bourbon Podcast, where I'm doing live streams at 9 p.m. Eastern Time every week. So come hang out with me there. It's a lot of fun. I drink bourbon, usually a little bit too much. But that's a conversation for another time. Anyway,
just join and see.
just join. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sight to behold. Kurt, thanks for being on, buddy.
Love to.
Absolutely. I'll see you next week, but until then, I'm Perry.
I'm Curtis.
This is My Bourbon Podcast.